Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and just made a blank test. So it can
Okay.
show you some of the different kinds of questions and the new kinds of questions specifically.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through the old ones or just the new fill in the blank kind and
I
those?
never did figure out, so
Okay.
you might as well do the
So-
whole Magilla.
So do what?
Do the whole Magilla.
Okay, I'll start with the new ones.
Okay.
Okay, so basically when you go in, now it looks like this, and you just click add
Uh-huh.
to add a new question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you add a new question, and I'm going to show you the new ones because I think they're kind of cool, and then we can go to the old ones too if you want to see those. So
Now, is this, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure, are we putting them in a bank or you
right
just
now I'm
print?
putting them in the test, but
Okay.
you could do the same thing to put them in the bank.
Yeah, okay.
So
That's what I wanted to make
so
sure.
if I didn't want to do them in test, I could go over here to question bank on
Yeah.
the side and just add a question.
That's
too.
what I generally do, is put everything in bank. and
Okay,
then
you
I
want
go
to do
back
it that way?
Yeah,
Because I could go
that's
question
generally what I
bank,
do.
it's the exact same thing.
Uh-huh.
I would then pick whatever category that I want
Uh-huh.
to start out with, and I'm gonna just put it down here under course introduction,
Okay.
because there's less there. And then I can do create a new question, just
Okay.
like that add one does. So the one of the new ones that I think is really cool is the drag and drop into text.
Yeah, they have that.
Okay.
Mhm.
So this is one of the new ones that I like that because it's very much like the online testing things that kids do. Okay. So as you may remember, the question name right here is not something the kids ever see. That's just for us. And so I still put my chapter and my indicator number that it applies to in the top so that I can see whether I hit those. And it gives me, if you remember when Bob last year was having us give data on specific indicators, I can then use that to order my Excel and do that. So I'm just going to say drop text to show what it's like. Okay, so in here in the question text, what's different about it is we're going to have answer choices down here that we're going to put in there. And that choice one means that that's answer one up here. So in other words, when I'm going up here, the way it works is okay, let's say the first, we're going to make a sentence, maybe nonsensical, but use double brackets like that. So then that means there's going to be a blank there.
Okay.
And the answer is whatever is in word one. Okay.
Okay.
Is a, and I'm going to put another one like that. Okay. So if I was going to have the words like the world is a big place.
Okay.
I know this is not. And then I can have other words that show up too. Like I said, this is nonsensical. But so the groups are colored groups. I'll show you what that means here in a second. And the last thing you want to always check is the word shuffle. If you don't shuffle, then they're going to be in the order that they were in. So I'm just going to hit save changes, and we're going to look at this question. Okay. So the way this ends up looking then is you have these blanks in your sentence, and then you just drag the words up to it. Okay. So and those double bracket 1, double bracket 2 means that, okay, so the answer to this, the world is a big place. Okay, so that would be the correct answer for this one. But it's really easy. Now those other things, I'm gonna edit it and show you what those other things meant down there. So I can put whatever sentence I want to in a big drag and drop, and I have a really, like my last test, I had a really, really big drag and drop with a whole bunch of stuff. Like the first thing that runs on a computer is blank. Blank then does this, and then it's like this whole, I had a whole bunch of words.
So basically a paragraph.
You can have a paragraph with the key things in it,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I've told you this is short and nonsensical. But let's say you had a whole bunch of things in the paragraph, and you at least wanted to make it easier for them to differentiate the possibilities. Like let's say it's a paragraph and you had 8 different words that went in there, and you wanted to break them up with color. That's what this group is. So for instance, I could make a second group, and all the things in the second group then I may have even even spelled that wrong, but I'm going to show you what this looks like. That then color codes the choices, okay? So see how these are gray and those are white?
Yeah.
So you could have blocks that are white and then blocks that are gray. So in the same question, it's just a way to break out the words.
So they could, yeah, so that
So
would-
they
that
know
looks
this
like a-
list of words is for
Yeah.
these blocks and
It's
this
almost
list
like
of
a
words
bank.
is for those.
Yeah.
That's all that's for, is to color code the words a little bit. I haven't used that. I don't really see a huge reason to do that, but you could. So if I made this one part of group 2, for instance, let me do this like that so it makes a little more sense. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that button. So if I look at now, you see this block is gray, so the gray words go to this answer and the white words go to this answer.
All right.
That's the whole idea of that, so that if you had a whole bunch of words that they didn't have to choose from all of them. Or if you had the same word in the sentence twice, which you can do anyway, but so you can, in my last one, let's see down here, one of the things that you can choose down here is, let me expand all. Unlimited. So like if the word world comes in there, let me show you the difference here. If I make all these unlimited, because you could use the same word more than once in the sentence. You could have one there, and you know, if you wanted to. So now by clicking unlimited, the words don't disappear as you use them. Whereas before, if I had grabbed this word, it would disappear, and I didn't save it or something. Like that's what it does if they're not unlimited. I don't know why. Did I not hit save? I did. Why did it not do that? Because I should have seen those words stay down there as I drag them up when I do unlimited, and I don't know why. Oh, well, let me drag a white onto a gray. I wonder if it doesn't work in the preview. But that's the idea of what unlimited means. I don't know why it's not letting me do that.
Unless you have it grouped, you left it grouped.
No,
Shouldn't make any
I don't
difference.
think that makes any difference for anything. I'll try that back to making them all white, but I wonder if it's because I didn't actually use anything more than once that it did that. Because on my last test, I had the word personal computer show up more than once in the. Oh, that's the way it's supposed to work. See how town is still there? I don't know why it would. Okay, so anyways, that's what it means. Oh, because there's only 2 blocks, and there was only one of each. So as soon as I stuck it, there was no other one. So that's why it didn't work. So that's a drag and drop text. It's pretty easy. You just have to put the double brackets, and then the number inside refers to which one of these is the right answer. So, and obviously you might want to put some extra words in there, but be careful that they may or may not make sense, because you could say this town is a small place. So that's that one. So then let's go through some of the other ones. Some of them are not easy, and I am not even going to try to show you the really complicated ones. Drag and drop markers. The idea of this one is, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. I use that in chapter 2. See if I can find that really easy. What's that, chapter 1? It was chapter 1. There we go. The idea of this one, I mean, it's really cool, and it might work out great if you're doing geography in one of your social studies classes. You could use a map. The idea is that they have to put the marker on the spot and label those things on a picture. And you can use any picture you want to. The hard part is defining where the picture goes and explaining to them that it's not the words, it's that little target right there that is getting scored.
Okay.
So like, this is true, this is false, even though CPU is over the CPU, the target is not any longer over the
Gotcha.
CPU. So the hard thing is getting this one to work right. Could you get that, Karen?
Hello, this is Mr. Poole.
Mr. Pools,
The library.
could you go and pick that up real quick, Karen? Okay, so I'll show you how this one works. So this is the drag and drop markers one. And so when you do this one, same thing. I'm just going to put, stop that. I don't know. I just do that. We go, okay, there. So
Up and down, okay.
I'm going to put delete here so that I remember the question.
Okay.
And then you can just say, place markers for the map. And obviously you might want to say more than that. But then down here, there's a spot to just drop your picture.
Drop your
Okay.
picture.
So I'll grab us a map real fast. Map of Europe. Actually, what classes do you have? Do you know?
It would be government, so it wouldn't be anything like that.
Oh.
But you could use, just do map of Europe, that's just do something.
I just switched to America.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if we wanted to, that would be a bad one. Let me see if we can get another map without labels on it. I just thought I clicked maps. There we go. Oh no, I want images. I don't want maps. What am I doing? So I'm trying to get a picture. A picture without labels. There we go. So let's say we use this one. So I'm going to save this image right to my folder where I save stuff like this to delete. So then all I have to do on here is drag this picture into the middle area. So let me just drag that picture. This picture, hopefully it resizes because it feels really big. So I just dragged it there. And then see how it automatically puts this grid on there. Okay?
Oh, yeah,
So it works like a grid. It counts over and down, and each one of these is 10. So you got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 over, and 10, 20, 30, 5 down. Okay? So now I have to define both what my markers are. So for instance, if my marker was Ohio, they have to mark where the state of Ohio is. If I can spell. Okay. And number of times it defaults to infinite, but obviously there's only one state of Ohio, so I'm going to make that 1. And then I have to say down here, the drop zone, where that belongs. And this is the hard part.
okay.
The easiest thing I think of is to do rectangles. And if you pop up, it says how this works, but this is what was hard. In a rectangle, you define the top left and then the width and the height. So you have to go and say, okay, Ohio is going to start at 20, 38, 39 over, and 10, 14 down. 39, 14. So I have to see what I'm saying. So I have to say 39, comma 14 is where it starts, and then I have to put in a semicolon and say the width and the height. So then I gotta go semicolon. Yeah, this was the hard part of that. And once I did it a couple times, it made more sense. So the width, I'm only gonna say is 1, 2. I'm gonna be nice and say 4 high and 4 down too. And you know what? I forgot. This is in 10, so it's actually 40, 40, and this is 0 because it lets you be more granular than I'm being.
Okay.
So right there, I should then see a box show up here. I don't see my box.
I
Where's
haven't
my
saved anything yet, though.
box? I think I should see a box. I don't see a box.
Yeah, but you haven't saved anything.
No, I don't have to. As
Oh,
soon
okay.
as soon as I do one of them, if I did it right,
Well, you've got
it
3.
shows up. Comma, comma, colon, colon. So 390, that's what I'm saying, these are actually 10. So 10, that's 100, 200, 390, and 140 down. I think I've got
But
that.
you put 40.
Right, that's my height and my width.
Mhm.
I think I got a comment there. There we go. It was because I had a period.
Oh, okay.
So you could see, and then I gotta tweak it, so I'm a little too far down, so I might wanna make this 130. As soon as you get it in there, it goes, and see how it just moved?
Yeah, okay.
So this is a tough one, which you really wanna do it, like, I could see a science teacher doing this one, and I'm gonna use it on my motherboard stuff, but if you don't have a map or a diagram or something that's part of your class.
It wouldn't be bad for world history. I don't know that it's any good for, but it might be, who knows, it might be something
So
that.
there are other ones too. You don't have to do squares. You can do circles, and in a circle you just have to say, see on the circle you have to do the X and the Y and then the radius of the circle. I don't even try polygon. I tried that and it spent forever. So I'm back to squares and circles. So
Okay.
you'd see that that's how that one would work. And so then if I save this, and you could do as many as you want to. Oh, what did I do? You have chosen a marker to be. Oh, I was supposed to say which one's the right answer. So Ohio is there. That's why it says you wrong. And I did something else wrong. I chose no marker. I chose Ohio. There we go. Okay, so now this one looks like that, and they have to know where Ohio is.
Mhm.
I'll guarantee there'll be kids who get that wrong,
No.
which is sad enough. But anyways, the big thing is that they have to know that it's the marker that has to be in the middle,
Okay.
not the word, because that they would get wrong.
Mhm.
And that they would get right. So anyway, so that's that one. Then the other ones we've had all the other ones before, but I'll go through those. How about I go through in the order that you want them?
Let's see. Do the random short answer
Of course,
matching.
you're going to ask something I don't ever use.
Okay.
I've never used random short answer matching before. Is that just matching? No. What's it do?
There's matching.
I've never done that one before.
Okay.
That one's new that I haven't even played with yet. So I can't do that one. I can't do close.
How about matching?
Matching.
Well,
See, I do matching all the time.
Matching, I don't know that they use as much, so I think it's the random short answer, but.
Are we
Show me
trying to
the
find?
matching.
Are we trying to find ones that match online tests? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
what you're
trying to
do?
think in terms of what I saw on the test.
So you can try to make questions that are
Yes,
like
I want
them.
I want them practicing how to use that.
Which makes perfect sense. And then I usually say each answer can only be used once, even though I think that's usually obvious. Okay, so you can put as much information up here as you want, but only text goes in the other one, okay? So you can match pictures, you can match words, you can match all kinds of stuff, okay? But the other side, one side of it has to just be text, okay? So if I wanted to match, I don't know, give me something, man. You want to give me any of your content stuff?
Okay, so.
And that's new, by the way. You didn't have a full Moodle editing thing like you do now.
Okay, so the question is, how do I say this?
So I guess my point is you can have whole sentences or paragraphs on
Okay.
one side, and say, who made this quote, and you can have quotes here and authors, and a quote and an author, and a quote and an author, or a famous,
Oh.
you know what I mean? So it's not although it says question, that's
Yeah.
a misnomer. Just these are just things to match. So you can, that's what I'm saying. You can have an infinite amount of text, and this can even be a sentence. It just can't be anything.
Well, like for example, which documents, no, let me say that differently. List the documents in order of the year they were created, or when they were created, starting at the earliest to the latest.
Now you could
And then have-
you could have like document and then put the year and a document, put the year and document and have a match the year that it came out, but you can't do an order.
Okay.
I don't know how you would do.
That was one that they had where you had to place things in order. And maybe that's not what this kind of question will do for you.
I mean, you could have it, and I have done that where the answers are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they have to put the order is the answer.
Well, they dragged and dropped is what happened. They had to drag the documents into order.
Well, you definitely could have done that with that drag and drop one. I mean, like with the drag and drop one,
Okay.
we could have done. Let me get out of this one real
Yeah.
fast. Let me go to that drag and drop one that we just did.
Okay.
Is that isn't this one? Drag and drop we did. I put in my course introduction, so we'll go to that one. So you could have easily with this one, okay, said. Put the documents in the order they were written,
Right.
and then had 1, 2. Oh, I'm not hitting my hatchets right. Like that. So they're going to get
Okay.
a list of
Yeah, do 4 documents.
blanks there.
Okay.
Okay, and then down here in the documents, now that the only thing is you don't have a huge amount of space, like the
Declaration of Independence.
okay, there you go. And then
Constitution.
okay, there you go. Showing how poor my typing skills are.
Declaration of Rights of Man.
What is it? What?
Declaration of Rights of Man.
I don't even know what that is. And what's the next one?
Let's see.
Emancipation
okay.
Proclamation.
You can put that in if you want.
Okay.
Federation, no, federal.
Okay. So anyway, so you could definitely do it like that, where that's what it's
Okay.
going to look like, where you're dragging it up to an ordered list.
Yeah.
So they're going to get this, but the document, and of course, I put a big capital of it. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right.
So and then they could go and go, oh, that
Okay.
comes first, and that you
Yeah.
know, whatever.
Actually,
So-
that's right.
So so they can pull those up. The only
Okay,
big
yes.
the only biggie with that one is to make sure you hit the shuffle the words thing down here, because if you don't
Oh, yeah.
if you don't shuffle that, because the first time I did it, I didn't do that, and all the answers were in the order that they went. I'm like, what? Actually, I think Garrett caught it. He goes, you know, they're all in the order that they're showing up in your paragraph, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Okay.
That seems like an obvious choice to me, but anyway.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can do that,
Right,
where you can
that
drag
is
them all
one.
up.
Okay. What about there was one, go back to the questions, types
Okay.
of questions. And that's definitely one of the styles I was looking for. Drag and drop markers,
Yeah, drag and drop markers is the one we just did. That's on a picture.
Okay.
Drag and drop text is the one we just did.
oh, that was, okay.
That you can make a list. You can put it in sentences. There are all
Okay,
kinds of ways
all
that
right,
you could
yeah.
do that.
So the drag and drop markers was
Yeah.
what we just did with the Constitution question.
No, that was
Right.
drag and drop text. Drag and
Okay.
drop markers was the state of Ohio.
Oh,
That's
the
a
state of
marker that
Ohio.
you put on
Then,
the.
I guess I thought drag and drop onto an image was that.
That's an image onto an image. That's even.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
even more
No,
difficult.
I won't
So
get into that, okay,
kind of like a puzzle.
okay. I'll be interested in random short answer matching.
I haven't done that one. We can take a look at it
Yeah,
real
would
fast
you?
though. Yeah. Is there I'm looking for a little help button. There we go. From the perspective of folks matching, the difference is the list of names or statements for the matching are drawn randomly for short answer questions in the current category. Oh no, you don't want to do that one.
No, no.
That's kind of randomly pick a question.
Some out of-
And
yeah.
So, and by the way, when you do random stuff, I don't know if you've ever made a random quiz, but if like you have, let's say you have all your stuff organized so that it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. You could do a random quiz in the formative category that will pick from that category. So you could say these are, if you want to take the, everybody has to get 100 on the quiz before they take the test, and it's 5 questions randomly from chapter 1. Every single time they go in, it's different 5 questions.
Oh, okay.
It's randomized
Do they
every
pull that from
single
the
from
vault?
your
From the bank, I mean?
from your bank. So
Okay.
like if I wanted, and I do that with my tech kids, which they love.
No.
they don't love. But like if I wanted to add a, I thought I had editing on. Oh, okay. Turn it off. So when you go and add a quiz, I'm just gonna put junk in here. Where's that at? There's my time category. I think that's all fine the way it is, because it's not in there anyway. So I'm going to save and display, and I can, when I do my quiz, I can add a random question right there.
Oh.
And I'm going to say a random question from chapter 1, and I can
Oh, that's
add,
cool.
I can add like 5 random questions from chapter 1, and every time they go in to take the quiz, it's a different 5 questions from chapter 1.
Well,
So-
it would be nice to add, if you're doing chapter, let me make sure I understand. If you were doing like a chapter 2 test, but you want them to go back and maybe take a few questions from the chapter 1,
Yeah. If you did that, then every kid's going to get a different question.
yeah, right.
That's the only thing is that if I don't know that I would ever use the random for a summative thing,
okay.
just because unless I made a separate category with that I knew, okay, these are the questions that I really want to be. I can make a subcategory in chapter 1 that's called random or something.
Yeah.
Those are the approved random questions.
Those would be the questions that I really want them
Yeah.
to remember.
Right. Okay. So you could make a group there, and then you could just pick that one, and see it doesn't say. So I could say include 5 questions, and then just add it, and now there's going to be 5 random chapter 1 questions in this and it's a different 5 questions.
Go
every
back
time they come
for a
in.
second.
To which thing?
Go back to the picture we just saw.
Okay.
Okay.
So I say the category that I want the question to
Yeah.
come from.
Yeah.
And I could do more than one. Like I could do this. I could say I want 2 random questions from chapter 1.
Okay.
And then the next time I could say add 2 random questions from chapter 2 if I was trying to make one that gets them ready for the semester exam or something.
Well, go down to that bottom box there. There's, random question using a new category.
Yeah, this is if you're going to create a category and add a random question to it. I don't know. I haven't done that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, because that.
I'm not sure why I would.
All right.
Yeah, it's great. You're basically adding a category that you're going to add questions to.
Oh,
I'm not sure why you would do that. I'm sure there must be something that I haven't just
Okay.
played with on that.
All right. Actually, that's something. Random short answer matching question. Okay.
So that one's kind of weird, I think, that
Yeah, but that might be, if you did create that random
category that you're gonna do that, and then it would be great.
And then I could go, because that was something that I always wanted to do. I want to go back, especially with government. I want to hit like the documents again, and I want to hit the basic principles again and again and
Yeah.
again and again. So I ran that down there, silly fruits.
So they actually remember it when they do
Yes.
it in the course exam,
Yeah.
is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking? Yeah, I think you could definitely do that, or
That
just
would be
make that little
nice.
thing and put some of those in there.
Yeah.
You know, but the last thing you wanna do is have your essay questions in there, so you're grading essay questions all the time. And that's why some of them, I'm like, I don't know if I want that in
Yeah.
there.
No, it would be the,
I don't use short answer at all,
oh, me neither. That's a,
cause I never get them to grade right. I'd rather
I
just
know.
make it an essay question and grade it by
I
hand.
always just, I do that.
I use multiple choice and true false all the time.
I never use true false.
And I use matching. I make them way different. A true false is worth 1 and a multiple choice is worth, depending on how many, 2 to 4.
Yeah.
So I have true falses in there because the kids get true falses, so I like to have them see true falses every once in a while. But they're not, as many points as matching a multiple choice. I know some people hate true false, but I think they're really important that a kid, my opinion, that a kid learns how to tell the difference be able to make that Boolean decision that anything false makes a true false question false, because they fall into that all the time. They don't understand what false is. So I have those in there, and I don't be flat out half true, half false, and they're like, but that's true. I'm like, that's why I have the question, because you need to understand what true and false is. Any part of a question being false makes the question false. There's no gray area in a true false question. But anyway, that's me. I don't use the closed ones. The calculated multiple choice is new. I don't even know what that one is either. Which choice elements can include formula results from numeric values that are randomly selected from a set when the quiz is taken. That sounds. Yeah. I don't like.
No,
I don't like if the quiz surprises me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to be on it. So.
Is there more types of questions? Oh, okay.
The select the missing word is just that. It gives you a drop down list, so you can have a sentence with a drop down list of what word. It's kind of like the drag and drop text, but there's only one sentence, or there's only one word in there. So you select the word from a drop down that makes the sentence correct.
Yeah.
So it's the same. It's basically the exact same thing as the other one. I mean, the setup is exactly the same, but then you get those drop downs. So in group 1, you'd have all the words in group 1 show up in that drop down. So you can have more than one word in the sentence.
That would be good for a differentiated. Okay.
That might be good for them.
That would be good for Cody Smith.
So, but other than that, it's exactly. Its setup is exactly the same as the fill in the blank one.
All right.
Do you have any questions how to do? The other ones you've done before, but.
Yeah. Let me think. Is there anything else that I had? That was the big thing. I wanted to start I'm starting my government, and I wanted to start using test questions. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think that's fine. I hope. Well, I know where to find you.
Yeah. So if you have any questions on any specific ones when you're doing it,
Okay.
just